Well, now that you're doing deep cleaning on it, could you call what has been happening for these 13 years interim cleaning? Would that fall under that definition? You don't have to
No,
answer.
they weren't. Going by the official definitions of interim, and they're
Well, I was saying that tongue in cheek, I guess.
They didn't use those materials, I don't think.
But I guess by definition you could call that interim cleaning, and that now you're coming in and cleaning it once and for all, I suppose. That was my point.
Yeah, well now, of course, after we restore it back to pristine, which we're going to do later today and tomorrow, finish up the whole school, at least the public areas, hallways and lobby, about 11,000 square feet. Then we'll install, quotes, routine/interim, I can't even quite say it, program.
Okay.
So that it won't ever again be in that condition, and they can do it for very low cost. It's again counterintuitive.
So this was just neglected all these years. I mean, you
Well,
said they cleaned it once a year. That obviously wasn't enough, and it wasn't sufficient.
Yeah, even if they cleaned it 4 times a year, that would have been worse, actually. Cleaning once a year was better than cleaning it 4 times, frankly.
Okay, now talk about what's going to happen. What are you guys doing with the carpet? You vacuum it, and then you put the host product on it?
We pile lift vacuum it extensively because you'd be amazed if you get over there and watch what they're going to be doing. The amount of dry soil that you get out during the simultaneous pile lifting vacuuming, well, it'll snap your head back. And you can in some cases, in the case of, for example, Pasco schools down in Pasco County, Florida, one trash carpet of maybe 25 years neglect, they evac'd, that's the slang term for extractor vac or simultaneous pile lifting vacuuming, for a month, no chemical. Vacuum, pile lift vacuum, pile lift vacuum, pile
Over
lift
and over
vacuum.
and over again.
And because they kept getting soil out. And then they finally got to where it was time to apply the chemical, which in this case was the dry extraction sponges, and restored it to, it's still on the floor. Now it's 30 years old. I mean, it's restored it to pristine.
And
what
they've been
speaks
doing
to the carpet is it's the quality of the carpet we're making here in North Georgia, in which some of the people making it seem to have lost confidence. It'll perform that well if we treat it properly.
Take care of it, yeah. So normally when one vacuums with a normal vacuum cleaner, they'll take out a small percentage of dirt and leave the rest in there, which builds up over time, and that's why they feel it has to be restored then at the end of some period of time.
Yeah, the problem is it gets the surface, gets the dust off the surface and a little bit down in, but it's the typical commercial uprights are not designed to go deep, as it were. One of the things that you don't see easily by casual observation walking on a carpet trying to evaluate it is the effect of the crushed pile. Doesn't look crushed, but it is. And that crushing a lot or a little makes a huge difference in the soil removal, either of the so-called routine upright vacuuming and or the extraction. Mm-hmm. Huge difference.
So then day in, day out, once you get this place clean and they use a host approach from now on out, what would that be? They vacuum this thing daily, weekly? How?
Yeah, concentrating where the soil is going to be. And where the soil is going to be accumulating is where people are walking. Because of this wonderful attribute of carpet, which traps it and holds it and hides it where the people walk. And so you know where that is. You can even do it on an architect's floor plan. You don't even have to be in the school, for example, to see where those places are.
You know where the doorways are, and you know where the...
That's where you concentrate the labor.
Yeah.
And it's all labor intensive. And the more that you do, unfortunately, and we found out, the less chemical you use. It is quite amazing. In a given location, schools are a good example because you've got a lot of footage and a lot of concentrated traffic, a lot of neglect. We're going in to restore it, and so you use quite a bit of material, a lot of labor to restore it. And once you do, our sales go down, 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 because you don't need much chemical.
Typically, and I'm sure this question changes depending on where you're standing, but it sounds like normally the bulk of dirt in any given carpet is dry.
Yes.
And the small percentage would be more of a greasy type dirt.
The dry dirt is estimated to be, say, 85% of the total soil load. The next, the type of dirt, the soil that needs chemical attention is the water-soluble soil and the oil-based soil. Water-soluble soil makes up about 8 or 9% of the remainder, and oil-based about 5%. So there's more water-soluble soil typically in a carpet than oil-based.
When this restoration cleaning, water extraction, do they make an effort to deep clean before they do that? Or, and I'm wondering what it is they're cleaning. Much of the dry soil is being consumed by this method, I suspect.
What we observe, and it's not just us, it's really the both the chemistry and the physiology of the soil. Carpet will hold that soil in the upper third of the pile, talking about the soil that needs to be chemically somehow compromised or loosened in order to remove it. The dry soil will dribble down deeper. The problem is not loosening that soil. That is easy. You can do it with water. You can do it with saliva on a rag. Take a black area, and wet a towel and just run the towel over it. You have a clean streak right through the black area. The problem that happens, and it's reflected in something called wicking, and that is if you loosen that soil too fast with too much liquid, which is so easy to do, it disappears. But as the carpet dries, it has to dry from the surface. The spots reappear.
So competition.
Yeah. The biggest complaint on the commercial side, and it's also on the residential side, but the spillage isn't that severe on residential. The commercial side is wicking. Oh, you cleaned my carpet, looked great for 4 days, and now the carpet's dry and the spots reappeared. Wow, what's going on here? Very simple. They lost control. That soil that was on the top, available for extraction, now is driven down because you wet it. Gravity wants to take it before you can get most of it. You get some of it. You see it in your dirty water dump tank, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you can't. You lose it because it's so easy to loosen. Now it wicks back, and when you do dry extraction, one of the reasons you do dry extraction is you control that soil. You don't lose it deeper into the pile once you've loosened it. The sponges absorb it.
Okay. So you're not surprised by what's happening at this Valley Point school and what has happened up to this point and what will happen over the next couple of days. You've done this elsewhere, so you're not surprised by this.
Will I sound flippant or braggadocio if I say when we saw it, totally trashed, we had to say to ourselves, this is a piece of cake. Yeah. Now you have to work at it. But we'll restore that to pristine by tomorrow noon, all 11,000 square feet. Brought a bunch of our people from around the country, some of our guys, not all the guys, but some of the guys, host guys, host field salespeople. This is that's cheap. That's political inquiry.
I see.
Anyway, back to so, yeah, it'll be pristine.
I see.
And yeah, we've done it. Pasco was an example. We do it every day, essentially.
So then,
Did it with a large retail chain, which was a $6 million complaint last year. Well, we finished it up, yeah, in 2013. $6 million complaint solved.
so then the message to these people, to Valley Point, to Pasco School, to this retailer and others where you've done this is don't let it get in this position again. First of all, it'll look bad. Secondly, you're not getting the bang for the buck out of the carpet dollar you spent by letting it get in this shape. So therefore, here's what you need to do every day, day in and day out. Do they do it?
Yes. Now, yeah, we'll see. That's all spelled out. There's one other point in your set of issues there, and that is, if it does get away from you, or if it has gotten away from you in the past, don't add any more liquid. Go dry extraction so that you max the extraction, max the removal. You got the deep cleaning with the pile lifting, simultaneous pile lifting and vacuuming. Then you got the chemical cleaning of the soil, which needs chemical to be loosened, which is really near the surface or on the surface of the carpet. It's not deep down in. It's on the surface, just like spot wick back. It's on the surface when it wicks back, not deep down. Mm-hmm. It's ready there. Don't lose it. Don't lose it by overwetting it.
Now,
I get carried away with this because it is really simple. It's not complex.
well, I can see where tough times, budgets are tight. One of the first things that is cut back, obviously, is maintenance on carpet and everything else, I suppose. And hey, it looks okay to me, so I can see how that happens. I suspect you make a case going in, you spend X number of dollars on this carpet should last X number of years. Spending this amount for maintenance on a daily and some interval basis is going to result in a savings of X at the end. Is this the way you approach a
Yes.
customer?
Yes, you double or triple the typical life cycle expectation of, for example, school carpet in schools. Right now, the rule of thumb is that school carpet will last from 8 to 12 years. As a matter of fact, it will tend to be uglied out by 5 years. Not worn out, uglied out. Now, so you've got it now uglied out in 8 to 12 years, I mean, really bad. And so you think, we can't do it. It doesn't, every time we clean it, it looks just as bad a week later. So it's got to be replaced. The answer is no, it does not have to be replaced. It'll be restored. It'll go another 20 years. We've seen that. We've restored a 30-year-old carpet. It's now 35 years old and not scheduled for replacement. No magic, just keeping control of the soil. Well, I don't want to keep repeating all that, but it's pretty straightforward. And we'll do that at Valley Point, which probably was maybe the worst example in Whitfield County. I don't know that because we didn't go around looking, and because it was
Yeah.
J&J's project along with the Valley Point people.
And I'm sure this is the case all over the country. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not just here. It's although it's ironic taking place in Dalton, I suppose. But,
Yes.
But I suspect it's going on all over. I've always heard a conversation about real-world cleaning versus cleaning that takes place in a lab in terms of testing cleaning methods. And I want to get your thoughts on that. Now, I guess testing in a lab, I suppose it's difficult or nigh on to impossible to duplicate a real-world situation in a lab. But if testing in lab removes dirt, that must be significant of something.
You can design a protocol for lab testing which if it includes the basic elements of what we find in the field in terms of the challenge and what has made, say, this carpet, brought it to the need for cleaning. But then the testing gets a little expensive, and the folks tend to, except for Ernie Revay of DuPont, Dr. Schmutz, now retired. He was the guru. Except for him, people will tend to shortcut the process and the protocol. For example, the testing now being done, the seal of approval, the protocol does not allow it to really test for cleaning as we know it. And the elements are pretty simple. When you soil the carpet, and your protocol should provide for simulated foot traffic, because crushed pile, soiled carpet with pile crush cleans demonstrably differently. It responds demonstrably differently from soiled carpet without pile crush. Likewise, on your test soil. Your test soil has to include water-soluble soil as well as oil base. And the present protocol doesn't do that. Both were removed, the water-soluble soil and the oil base. They're trying to put back the oil base with mineral oil, but they're not doing anything about the water-soluble soil. Then in your protocol, you need to have a reasonably valid test for the rate of resoiling. It can't be a quick dusting. And finally, you have to have, again, in your protocol, and you can do it, an evaluation testing that enables you to evaluate for wicking, which is the reappearance of soil and spots and spills after the cleaning is finished. That protocol that I just outlined sounds pretty simple. It is. And it's expensive. And at the moment, I'm not aware of anybody who is doing testing with an adequate protocol.
I see, but it's doable. It just hasn't been done at this point.
It's doable. We can get a lot closer than we've been getting, particularly those elements of wicking, rate of resoil, water-soluble soil, and oil base, plus the creating of some matting during the soiling process.